Okay, I'm working on my 2004 Mazda 3S. This has the 2.3 liter, and just wanted to make a quick video on something I was working on. This, if you, in case you didn't know, the AC runs off of a stretch belt. There's no tensioner, so there's a stretch belt that runs from the pulley over to the AC compressor. And you know, if you say you've just got you a brand new belt on and you want to remove this thing without tearing it up or having to cut it, you can actually do what I just did, which is pretty easy, and just take, you've got 3 nuts holding that cover on, but there's 4 bolts that hold this in. There's 3 short ones and 1 long one. The long one goes right over here. You see I've got it marked, and the rest of these are your short bolts. But what I did was I took these front 2 here and here out first, and I left the back 2 in, and I just slowly remove those, and it'll come down and it doesn't damage. I've done this twice. It hasn't damaged the threads or anything, and that's the way I done it the first time. So I mean, to save having to mess your belt up, I mean, they may have a tool for taking it off, but it's my understanding that once you put the stretch belt on, you're supposed to cut it and replace it. So, you know, these things are like 30 bucks, and I didn't want to have to go buy another belt because I'm just working on, I've got a little oil leak, and I'm going to be having to reseal this pan here and deal with this. So that's the way you can remove that very easily and not have to mess up your belt. And now it's hanging on this little bolt right here, but I can actually go ahead and just slip this thing right off of here, and it shouldn't fall. But what I'm gonna have to do is actually drop this thing down as far as I can to be able to get this oil pan, because it's attached to it. So now another thing, if you happen to mess with your oil pan, this dipstick runs into it, and you've got a couple of bolts that attach this. I think there's one, well no, there's 2 up there on that intake, and you have to actually, this has an O-ring on it, and you have to pull this out as well, otherwise I won't be able to pull this down. But you know, maybe that can help somebody out. Like I said, you can just take those bolts out of there and reuse your stretch belt, and there's a lot of videos on putting these on. You can get the tool, or you can just use the zip ties. I've used the zip ties and it's worked fine for me. I put like 4 or 5 zip ties, pretty good ones, and just I put it on that way, and there's videos for doing that. Anyways, like I said, just want to do a quick video on that, and maybe that can be some helpful advice, and thank y'all.